in the Middle East, I forget. But people have been using that stuff for centuries.
Well, shit, man. I mean, I can sit there and grab a history book, an American history book, and just get lost, just totally lost. It has an almost opiate type effect and is actually really great when combined with real narcotics. Sit there with a history book, and I can just get totally lost in the thought of the historical times and and distracted rather than inspired.
My friends hated me because I always was, whenever I'd smoke pot, I'd watch politics and documentaries.
Well, I'm basically that guy, but we do differ on that one certain something. I forget how you put it, but
I haven't smoked pot in years. But
The Crisis Club is, a blunt instrument, wielded in a semi-threatening fashion to smash through your illusions of security and get you to fucking, pay attention to some shit. You know what I mean? And if it's a buzzkill, if you're not trying to fucking pay attention, get the fuck off the website. You know what I mean? Don't listen to my goddamn podcast. That's how I feel. About it. I actually wrote a post on the blog, which talked a little bit about that. But I've realized that it's not going to be for everybody. But one thing that we do want to do is I believe that you can learn from anything. I mean, you can learn from everyone. I view you as a teacher. You're teaching me how to do this, how to do what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? So anything and everything is a teacher, and I want to, be humble enough to be able to learn from all sorts of things. And that is the very important thing, is that you always have to. I think of it as gathering information. You're always gathering information. And I think that's an extremely important point, is that I try not to, and that was where I got into when I got into Buddhism, is there was a point where I was very judgmental of things, and I always had this opinion that was kind of an aggressive opinion. However, I mean, I still have aggressive opinions, but at the same time, I like to listen a lot more than I used to, because I'm gathering information at all times, of trying to, because I think that's an important thing to do, and I think that's what you're doing. I have to wrap this up because I have a comedy appearance that I'm doing in Rochester tonight, so I have to leave and go do that now. Well, hey, good luck with that, bud. Thanks for being on. You're not totally off the hook. Round 2 within the next week or so. How's that sound?
I look forward to it.
So this is Robert Joseph, and I am joined with Josh Carter again for a follow-up talk. It's not really an interview, but a follow-up discussion to the one that we had just a couple weeks ago for Dialogue 2, because it went so well. And I'm just going to operate under the delusion that Josh went to Porc Fest as an embedded Crisis Club correspondent. So, we're going to operate under that assumption. So, how'd it go?
It was amazing, and everything I expected and even more. And I had high expectations, and like I said, every bit of it was amazing. Just the atmosphere itself was great. I mean, everybody there is, at the very least, smart. There's no you can walk down the street and meet a million idiots. You know what I mean? You don't let that get to you. But once you've been to a place where everybody is, good and intelligent, if not absolutely fucking brilliant, it's almost hard to come back and interact with people who really haven't thought about it as much as all these people have. I mean, these people really are, they're principled. They've thought about it. They're good people, and but just the whole spirit of the place. There were no vendor licensing going on by at any level. I mean, no government licensing of liquor sales or anything like that, and no campsite. The campgrounds themselves didn't charge vendors any sort of fee. I mean, there was a specific area called Agora Valley that if you were camping there, you were kind of expected to vend because that was just a prime area to sell things from. It's kind of in the thick of things. But if you could sell whatever you wanted from wherever you wanted, literally. There were unlicensed bars. For a while there were minors out there running around selling alcohol. I mean, they weren't drinking it, but like little kids, running errands. Because people could order. Order something from these unlicensed bars. They were golf carts riding around that, working for tips. So they would, taxi you anywhere. If you gave them $5, they go around and announce whatever you want. If you had a particular product or service or event going on that you wanted to announce, you could give the guy $5. Or if you needed to deliver a good from one side of the campgrounds to the other, you could, have it done like that. And it was just the entrepreneurial spirit the whole thing was just incredible. There were 3 different places serving Thai food. I've said it a million times, but it really did dumbfound me that there were 3 separate venues where you could go and get different types of they had some had Thai egg rolls, some had Thai fried rice, and Thai burritos.
Medium pad Thai, medium chicken pad Thai. That's my joint.
And they had these one guys I really enjoyed their food and company. These guys their site was called Our Food Your Gullet, and man, these guys were just the coolest ever. Like their meal bell in the morning was a fucking chainsaw. I mean, they took the chain off of it, but every morning they just revved that fucking chainsaw like 8 o'clock in the morning. Wake up, motherfuckers! Don't get your fucking chicken fried rice. And that was the thing. They had like this awesome selection. It was like chicken fried rice or a giant burrito, or they had these sausages that they'd simmered in beer all day for a couple days. I bought some funny caramel off of them, which was just, almost too potent. They're just the coolest guys ever. Everybody there seemed like had some sort of home brew that they had brought for themselves and were selling it just off their campsite for really reasonable prices. There was a market about it. You had to kind of compete. There was one guy, he had moonshine and lemonade and a home brew sitting there right next to his trailer, and then he just left a donation box there, and I could tell he was well taken care of.
So, for the benefit of listeners,
sure.
Can you talk a little bit more about the principle, the driving?
Yeah, Porc Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Porc Fest, Porc Fest here for anybody not familiar with it. It's basically it started with the Free State Project, which in the early 2000s, a group of libertarians got together and said that they decided that they would be better off politically, activism-wise, or even whatever type of activism they were doing. They'd be better off if they all moved to the same area, state, really, and concentrated their efforts in a single state.
I contemplated moving there, actually.
Yeah, it's a compelling idea in a lot of ways. It's not quite for me, but to me it almost comes off like a bit of Zionism. But I don't want to knock them because there are some great people there. And if nothing else, I love going and hanging out with those people, so I can never fault anybody for wanting to go be a part of that, just because there are some amazing people. But yeah, so the Free State Project is what it's called, and like I said, that's kind of the big umbrella thing. But within the umbrella, there's people that go through politics, the political way of doing things. There's actually a couple, I think, New Hampshire state representatives at Porc Fest this time around, and then all the way to the other side of the activist spectrum, you have people that are big into civil disobedience and really don't see any value in voting or campaigning, but they see a lot of more like direct action, protests, things like that, and there's definitely niches for everybody to fill in the Free State Project, and their mascot is the porcupine. Which, of course, a very peaceful animal, however, one that is not very pleasant to aggress against. So, and I think that's a beautiful thing, a really great mascot for any libertarian effort, but great representation of the libertarian ideals. But Porc Fest, Porcupine Festival, was started, I guess, back in, like I said, the early 2000s as a kind of an advertisement, a way for people to come try out New Hampshire and get to meet some of the Free Staters and try and convince more people to move out there. And they're still true to that fashion, but for me at least, and for a lot of my friends, it's really about, again, just going and hanging out with those amazing people, and not just amazing people from New Hampshire these days, but amazing people from all over the country. There's about 1,000 people there this year. Is at Rogers Campground in New Hampshire, where it has been for the past, I think, 7-8 years, something like that. And yeah, that's basically the nutshell of what Porc Fest is, and.
So what you're saying is it would have been worth my effort, worth my time to tell my boss I'll be seeing you in a week and grab all my tattoo gear and head on down there and have a awesome time. You
would have doubled. I'm not sure what your boss pays you, but you could have made a couple grand down there. Yeah. I mean, there was one tattoo artist that I know of, Leah Patrick, down there, and she's really great. But she was booked solid, and and she's been booked solid for months. She's popular within the Liberty movement. In the group of people that generally attend things like this, she's very popular and well known. But anybody with, obviously, I'm sure you've got a book of pictures of your work and things like that. Anybody that can prove their legitimacy to any reasonable degree can get business there, and you get paid. And that's the other thing that was really interesting. I'd say between 20 to 40% of the currency circulating at Porc Fest was probably silver.
Yeah.
Wow. Or copper. There's a little bit of copper running around. Most of it was, pre-1964, silver.
Legal tender.
Yeah, exactly.
90% silver.
They're 90% silver, exactly. And there's also these guys from Silver Circle. There's a movie that just came out. I haven't seen it. But these guys really seem to be on their game as far as making fractional weight coins, as in like tenth of an ounce and quarter ounce fine silver coins, not 90% like you'd find in a pre-1964 dime, quarter, $half or dollar, but actual fine silver that you don't have to calculate 90% of spot price in your head or something like that, and that was actually really cool. I heard a rumor, and I don't know, I didn't check it out for myself, but I heard they were actually accepting those 1964 dimes and giving out 10 ounces of fine silver in exchange just to get their coins
stock and trade.
Get it out there, and they're still taking back 90% silver that they can melt down and make their own coins out of. So it seemed like a really brilliant thing to me. If that's actually what they were doing. Again, I didn't try it myself.
Now let me ask you this: now, are these guys actually? I mean, can you commission them to coin for you? I don't know if you're familiar with the guy here in North Carolina. His name escapes me, but he created the Liberty Dollar, and he was recently, recently. I don't know if he's incarcerated yet. I don't know if he's been sentenced. But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, actually, there was one of the guys that he went to prison. He just got out after about 3 years, actually. Literally just got out, within weeks, I believe, was at Porc Fest. And this guy was basically the guy going around telling folks how to use them legally and how to avoid them being considered some substitute for currency, because that's what the convictions were about. That you're trying to, usurp the authority of the dollar or whatever.
Now I took a look at his Liberty Dollars, and I mean, I almost, in my opinion, it almost seemed like he was blatantly trying to compete in the style, in the fashion of. It said dollar on it.
Oh yeah, exactly. I agree with you. As sad as it is that there that there is such a law,
right? Exactly.
I certainly don't agree with the existence of the law, but yeah, I agree. It's plain on its face that he was in violation of the law. He could have been a lot more tactful. And I hate to say it like that. I'm not trying to come down on the guy because, it was still an amazing effort, and I think he did a lot of good and bringing a lot of awareness to things just by taking that fall, if nothing else.
Yeah, being hard.
But hindsight's 20/20, and looking back, I could see a few things he could have done better that would have kept him out of jail.
Yeah, because to me, when I first hearing about the story, of course, being